And then he sees figures. Strange figures. Animal cry. Oh, come on. Never mind. How about I write a drama about sound coming to films and how it's a turning point in history because all the jobs have changed and the lives have impacted?
That's something you put in a history project, not a movie. Come on, boss, you're obsessed with copying that. You can't direct a talkie and not be original. You ought to make this new thing pop. Be like Don Juan. You know, not all amateurish.
I will. I even called in Ginger Rogers to come talk into a picture. It's gonna be great, trust me.
Ginger Rogers? Oh gosh, you're gonna ruin us now. A popular actor in a bad picture? Come on, someone like her needs singing, dancing, entertainment, flashy lights, that stuff.
Excuse me? I'm an expert on talkies. I do it for a living. I've got the best sound systems you'll find in West Mississippi. And if I explain, you most assuredly are not going to catch me saying stuff like singing, dancing, and flashy lights, you beast, you disgrace you. It's her, she's here. Hello, Miss Rogers.
Hello, you said you wanted to talk with me about...
Yes, of course, there's a slight problem, you see.
We haven't made sure you're ready after being in swing time.
Yes, there's a chorus. But I was going to say, we're going to need, singing, dancing, and flashy lights. Anyways, we wanted to hire you for a new film with, get this, a film with sound.
I was just in a film with sound, singing and dancing even. It's still a new thing, obviously, and much too tedious for my taste, but I'm not a stranger to it.
Well, this is the first time my boss has finally given up on silent films because no one wants to watch them anymore. So he's finally converting to sound like the rest of society.
Well, it's not as if no one wants to watch them anymore. Everyone still loves Charlie Chaplin, poor fellow.
If you really think about it, sound is pretty incredible.
That's sort of random.
No, really, think about it. After years and years of just imagining all they say and chatting with your buddies with the picture in the background, now you can finally put emotion and real power into just a picture.
When they first introduced sound to us directors, I was pretty skeptical. With all the work of putting sound in film, I didn't think it'd catch on.
Who invented sound in the first place?
Well, it wasn't just one person. Ever heard the saying, stepping on the shoulders of giants? Well, it really took the workings of many people over the years to make sound. In 1857, a man named Leon Scott made an invention that could have been the first invention of sound, but he didn't make much of it, so we're not really sure if it was.
Oh yes, of course we all know about Edison, and how he was able to record sound into little drawings and play back through some monster's horn. But he never recorded onto pictures because that was back in...
1877, I believe. In 1901, then Edison made the camera phone, and eventually we got the Vitaphone.
Since when did you know so much about this?
Ever since I lost my job, I've had plenty of time on my hands.
Anyways, in 1929, Warner Bros. And the Vitaphone Company even filed a complaint against electric companies and telegraph companies and telephone companies to prevent them from interfering with the use of plaintiffs on sound-producing equipment.
Yikes. How does this even work?
Yes, look here. I'll try to explain it simply. So, we have microphones set up all over the set, which collect the sound, which then, using modern technology, sets up long pipes, and the Vitaphone is recorded in these little squiggles. See? Then, we have to go through the process of making sure the sound coordinates with the moving pictures, or else it can end up looking pretty silly.
That's incredible. Our world is so modern, it seems as if we could never progress any further. I remember back in 1927, at the White House, they presented a sound film that was completely synchronized. It was incredible at the time.
Not that I'll be able to enjoy any of it.
Here we go again. Look, he's being grump. He'll eventually turn around and see how brilliant these films are.
What's wrong?
I used to be a musician. You know, the people who would always play in the background during silent films. Well, most of us lost our jobs. Since they don't need live music anymore, we couldn't stop it from happening. As Robert Sklar said, talking audiences for silent pictures became silent audiences for talking pictures. Oh, and here, read this.
Although the new talking pictures may affect for a time the livelihood of some by decreasing the demand for orchestrations, we can't be against anything which is progressive, Such things have a way of bringing about a proper readjustment. We thought the mercantile linotype would take men's jobs away, but there are now more jobs than before its introduction. Radio also scared us at first. Mine seems kind of harsh, but it makes sense. Vaudeville performers were also having a hard time keeping up with sound films.
People even went on strike not too long ago, in 1933. Producers threatened to throw out 27,000 workers in the industry out of business because 665 people striking working in the sound department. There's this huge held wanted fiasco as they look for men capable of doing any kind of sound work in the production of motion pictures.
Makes sense. In the early times of sound movies coming up, they weren't at all wholesome. Most of it was all directed for inappropriate themes of violence. Because of this, Catholics boycotted sound films for their scandalous movies. Directors, like yourself, had to work on censorship for those types of movies.
My movies, I assure you, had none of that. Nonetheless, the whole industry took a pretty heavy blow and lost tons of money. Some people even thought we already had enough sound films, and we didn't need any more films. Their minds have been changed now.
Some actors thought the same thing and weren't willing to change over to sound films. In a nutshell, they were sent packing. Not many people were willing to change and willing to accept these new changes.
Aside from all this, it really has been helpful for the movie industry. People are now going to movies more than ever. It's going to be a standard for the whole country.
Not only did it boost our economy and help us through the Great Depression, but it also supplied tons of more jobs. And it's beginning to inspire people to new ideas and new inventions. Lots of jobs in the business of silver screen have changed more than ever.
Actors' lives have changed so drastically, it's incredible.
I can imagine.
You know, when there was no sound and when we had cheaper plots and some filming techniques, it didn't really matter about your voice or who you were if you could really act. Now how you look is much more important, and competition for interesting screenplays and new interesting writers is going at an insane rate.
You're telling me. Last I heard, there's been a flood of actors previously rejected from Hollywood coming back for a second shot.
You know, I guess you're right. I mean, about everything really being for the better, they'll still need music for the background, though I guess it's going to be recorded now.
See, I told you to turn around.
And who says this is how far we'll go? Already these talkie movies are carving us out a future. Is it possible that in 100 years, one talkie movie could maybe even influence a nation?
From what you can see, it already has.
If I was an inventor, I know what I would make. Wait for it. A theater screen you can have in your house.
That's a joke. And next thing, they'll be asking for color, not just by painting it on every little film, but actual color.
Yeah, and then they'll have actors being paid more than doctors in our own law force and be sending people into space. Very funny, but I can't see that ever happening.
But in all seriousness, you never really know.
So, we've lost a few jobs. True. Got some people sued. Yes. Even started a few strikes along the way.
We've also gained new jobs, been inspired with new ideas, and had the economy stimulated, created a new world way of entertainment.
If you don't mind me saying this, I do believe we have just involved what I would dub a turning point in history. And cut!
Oh my gosh, I love your quaint little accent, Gabby. Hilarious. Nice kind of guy.
If you don't, you want to talk, Michelle. Besides, I think it was a brilliant little documentary.
Cheesy last line, but thanks for letting me on it anyway. Speaking of cheesy, is it lunch break yet? Because I am starving. Come on, candy corner girl. Let's go get some eats and leave Gabby quoting her Marx Brothers.
Pardon me, what a strange interlude.
Animal crackers.
Whatever. Well, a director's headset through the ages, from silver screen to sound to color to 3D to who knows what. That's a wrap.